These headlines are truly some of the most scandalous crap that I've ever read in my life. Let's unpack. Exhibit A, Sky News. There's going to be a lot of that in this one. So the headline reads, Israel names teenage soldiers killed in Hezbollah drone attack as 23 die in Gaza school strike. Okay, first of all, this headline is a grammatical atrocity. Why is 23 die in quotation marks, and then the other, you know, the teenage soldiers killed are not? Are you saying I should believe everything that Israel says without question? They don't get any quotation marks. I'm just trying to establish what is going on here. You know, as a journalist, I'm trying to understand why another journalist would write this. What is going on here? Okay, that's number one. Number two, why are they killed and they die? Especially when you said one is an attack and the other is a strike. Okay, so those are synonyms. Yes. You surely can't mean you know, teachers going on strike and then 23 people just died. No, you mean an Israeli, you know, IDF strike, a bombing. Yes. So they were killed. They didn't just die. They were killed in a bombing, an IDF bombing. Yes. Okay. So why are you using a different verb? I mean, again, there are so many questions. There are so many questions here. I really don't have time and all day for this, but you just an atrocity of a headline. And again, why hold on a second. You just said, you just told me that it's a Gaza school strike, okay? And yet you said 23 died. 23 what? 23 goldfish? 23 hamsters? Who died at this school? Because you say teenage soldiers in the first sentence. Israel names teenage soldiers. Well, you know, are you talking about a night school? Is this a school for adults? Then they're not teenagers in this Gaza school. The 23 that died, that just dropped dead of, you know, I don't know. They had bubonic plague. They just died. You know, they all had heart failure and dropped dead in the same second. Again, the way that they just like Israelis are teenagers even when they're in the army and you know. They're soldiers, but we don't want to tell you that they're soldiers. We want you to have empathy for them. And they get killed. They never drop dead and just randomly, you know, die. Oh, by the way, here are their names and photographs. Think I'm joking? No. Literally, here are their names and photographs. You know, fuck the 23 people that just dropped dead in Gaza school. Who cares about them? You know, civilians.
And the Air Force soldiers that have died have now been named. All of them were just 19 years old. They are Sergeant Omri Tamari. In addition to that, Sergeant Yosef Hieb, Sergeant Yoav Agmon, and Sergeant Alon Amite, as I said.
Oh, that's just fascinating. Can you give me the date they were circumcised as well? Who the fuck cares what their fucking names are? Am I watching Israeli television or is this Sky News? Why do I care what the first names of 4 IDF soldiers are? Have you ever done this for British soldiers that have been killed in Afghanistan or Iraq? Which would also be kind of like weird because we invaded those countries. Why are you eulogizing them? But okay, why are you reading the names and showing me the photographs of Israeli soldiers on Sky News on British television? What on earth is going on? Why don't you give us the first names and the last names and the photographs of Lebanese paramedics? Are they not good enough for you? What is this crap? I mean, it's like she's about to break down and cry. Look at her.
And the Air Force soldiers that have died have now been named. All of them were just 19 years old. They are Sergeant Omri Tamari. In addition to that, Sergeant Yosef Hieb, Sergeant Yoav Agmon, and Sergeant Alon Amite. As I said, all 4 of them just 19 years old. And the Air Force...
It's not over. It's not over. Look at this. Here's another clip on Sky News. Sky News strikes again.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, not a lot of concrete detail has come out at the moment, but the figure of the number injured is very high. It's been reported 67 people have been injured, a number of them.
67 people. What happened? Was it a Taylor Swift concert? Seriously, just I'm not trying to be funny here. Just think of this rationally. You're watching a serious news program and there's 67 people. What happened? Were they all trying to rescue a cat from a tree and they all fell? They wobbled off of a ladder? Who are these people? How did they get injured? What's going on?
Around 4 or 5 at the moment is the number, critically so. Beyond that, there is not a lot of information, which tends to imply that there is more to come out. It's been...
Jesus, I mean, how can you be more vague? There's not a lot of information, but that tends to imply that more is coming out. What does that sentence mean? Yes, I guess. I mean, unless like you're, what? I've never heard anything so dumb in my life. There's not a lot of information, which tends to mean that more is going to come out. How do you know that? What, you won't tell us what's happening. You won't tell us what's happening.
Put down to a Hezbollah drone that perhaps wasn't detected.
Okay, it's a drone. Okay, so there was a drone coming, and it hit 67 people. Who are these people?
By Israel's defense system, so wasn't shot down. Assuming those numbers are correct, 67 injured, a number of them critically, I'm pretty sure that would make it the biggest drone attack, or even the biggest attack by Hezbollah on Israel over the last year. Now, a lot of them have been taken to hospitals around the region, around the north. There's been a lot of sirens in the north over the last hour or so. So there seems to be some pretty heavy Hezbollah missile barrages into northern Israel. But 67 injured is a lot, particularly when you...
Okay, so I'll save you the next 2 minutes. This goes on for another 2 minutes with injured people, and not once not once do they mention that these people are soldiers. So if you have no clue what is going on and you just turn this on, you would think that 67 random human beings, they could be at a Katy Perry concert. I don't know, did I say Taylor Swift? Okay, whatever, a Taylor Swift concert. They were in the supermarket. You have no idea who these people are, but they never mention that they're soldiers. Don't you think that's like a key piece of information? And forget what side you're on. I'm talking about just communicating, this really breaking story, because you're telling us there's not much to go off of. Well, okay, again, you could start by who did what to who. That would help a lot. No, nothing. Okay, so again, it's really weird, because when they want you to know that they like to basically to stir up emotions, they tell you, oh my God, they're not just soldiers, they're teenage soldiers. We even have their first names and their photographs for you. Look. But when they don't want you to know, for some weird reason, because you just said it's the biggest one, so I would think you'd want people to know, wouldn't you? They just fail to mention it. It's not written here. It says the number of people wounded. The number of people wounded. And then, again, for 3 minutes, they're just going on and on and on about 67 people that you wouldn't have the faintest idea. You wouldn't have the faintest idea that these are soldiers. Now, again, if you're okay with that or you're not okay with that, I don't care. I didn't ask you. I'm just showing you how the media, at the right moment, they'll give you the information, and they do have it. He's pretending there's not a lot of information. It's 67 people that have been randomly struck. No, he knows. And I'll tell you why he knows. Because when you're not allowed to publish the figures and the identities of people that have been wounded or critically wounded in these attacks, it's because they're soldiers. That's protocol. It's a military censor. Do you understand? It's something they have from British colonial times. They've kept that in Israeli law. It's martial law. It's the army is allowed to gag the press. Again, Israelis tell you they're a democracy. They are not a democracy. The army has the final say on what gets published in Israel. Fact. Period. Okay? It's a British law, and they've kept it ever since 1945. It's still there. That's a fact. So They know that it's 67 soldiers, and they won't tell us for some reason. And I'm just showing you how interesting that is, because just a day later, they have no problem telling us when the soldier was out. Okay, so you have the names. When you have the names, you're ready to stir emotions. When you have the names, you're ready to do that when they're Israelis. But the Lebanese paramedics that have been killed, and when I say killed, I mean assassinated, hunted. Even on Sky News, on this channel, on the same channel, they were saying one paramedic crew in Lebanon was struck by Israel. Then another one came to rescue them. They were struck as well. And then the third crew that came to rescue them was struck as well. Well, holy shit. Look, you've got all the details. You know who struck who. You know when it happened, where it happened. Everything is there. Why don't you show us their names? Why don't you show us their photographs? Are we not, we're not allowed to be, you won't keep us abreast? We're not allowed to be illuminated by this knowledge that you've gathered? Please, I would love to see their names and photographs, since they save lives, they work as paramedics. Who would object to that? Or is it because they're Lebanese that you won't show us? And they're not Israelis? Is that the factor? Because I never, ever see any soldiers of any army, even the US Army, even the UK Army, have their names and photographs shown on the television. I mean, Jesus Christ, the bias is just so nasty. It's so nasty and clear. It's unbelievable. It is crazy. And I'm coming back to this. I'm coming back to this tweet because after classifying Hind Rajab as a 6-year-old lady, anything does go. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. Whether that was worse when they killed Hind Rajab and called, that's the girl who was shot with 300 bullets, and they called her a 6-year-old lady, or this one in Lebanon, right? A 2-year-old girl and a 16-year-old woman. So that's a 16-year-old girl. She's suddenly a woman, right? But when we're talking about Israeli soldiers, they refer to them as teenagers, as teenage soldiers. Okay, well, why not teenage girl is killed in Lebanon? What's wrong with teenage girl? I mean, again, the contrast is so weird. And then they remind me of this thing in the West Bank from January. Again, who strikes? Sky News strikes again. Just listen to the clip. It's amazing.
The border checkpoint, you can see a car going through and ramming some of the police that were actually manning that checkpoint. The video we're going to freeze shortly, but the two people, a man and a woman in the car, subsequently they were killed by the police, but it looks like accidentally a stray bullet found its way into the van ahead, and that killed a 3 or 4 year old young lady. So tragic events in the West Bank. This happened at the border check.
A 3 or 4 year old lady. Oh, shit. I didn't know you could be a 3 or 4 year old lady. What the hell is that?
But it looks like accidentally a stray bullet found its way into the van ahead, and that killed a 3 or 4 year old young lady. So tragic events.
A 3 or 4 year old young lady. Oh, okay. As opposed to a 3 or 4 year old old lady. I mean, it's comical at this point. Like, forget everything. Forget everything about the Israeli soldiers. Forget that. This just by itself is unbelievable, really. A 3 or 4 year old young lady. Wow. A 3 or 4 year old young lady. My mind is never going to digest this sentence. I will never digest this to the day I die. A 3 or 4 year old young lady. Wow. I mean, if I were a comedian, I'd just consider myself out of business, really. It just how can you beat these people? They are working on a level that our brains cannot even comprehend. This is it's not comedy gold. This is like comedy rubies and gems and platinum, Wow. No, but this is really messed up, honestly. And here's another one. So this is from today, okay? So Professor Abu Khalil directed my attention to this, okay? So Sky News, again, here we go again. I swear to God, you would think I picked these all out like I have a bone to pick with Sky News. I swear to God, I did not go for Sky News. I swear to God. So it says, breaking, the UK has announced sanctions against several Iranian senior military figures and association and organizations following Iran's multiple rocket attack on Israel on October 1st. Okay, and then there's like a picture of just stuff burning and everything. Now, if you've been tuned into the program for the last 2 hours, you recognize that burning footage, because that is from when Israel bombed Al-Aqsa Hospital in Gaza just last night, 24 hours ago, not on October 1st, on October 14th. And so 2 weeks later, right? Again, and burned 5 people alive, right? Including Shaban and his mother. And so people on Twitter added context, said this picture is not of Iran's multiple rocket attacks. It is actually of an Israeli airstrike on a hospital tent camp in Gaza, as shown within the Sky News link, based on a photo from Reuters. So, you know, the way that they managed to make the photo appear is basically by stuffing it down in the same article somehow, or maybe it's on a ticker. You know, sometimes they'll have multiple boxes for various stories. Maybe it's a bug. Maybe, you know, maybe we should give Sky News the benefit of the doubt. But should we really give them the benefit of the doubt after the clips that I just showed you? I think the benefit of the doubt just ran out of the room, is headed in the other direction. So no, I don't think we should give Sky News the benefit of the doubt. I think we should give them all of the doubt and nothing but the doubt. Jesus Christ, how can you lie like this for a living? How can you lie like this so casually? It's unbelievable. I kind of wish I had this level of shamelessness. I mean, it's so bold-faced. It's so bold-faced. I don't know how these people do it. I really don't know how they do it. How do they take themselves seriously? This a 3 or 4 year old young lady. No, wait, did I say it? I'm done. Really. But we go back to you know, you'll never see Lebanese paramedics have their photos shown on there. You'll be lucky. You know, you can go and join the British Army, and you can go and do the SAS fitness test and join the regiment, right? And you can be killed like paragliding off a goddamn C1, you know, like a C-130 Hercules on a motorcycle in night vision goggles. And you know, you could die on the most top secret mission in the UK has ever issued, and you will never have your photograph shown on television as a British soldier. But as an Israeli, for some reason, they will read out your first name and your last name and show your photograph, and just like, you know, the Sky News presenter will cry for you. But you could be James Bond, and no one is going to do that shit for you in the UK. Don't you find that weird? You could be James Bond, and no one will do that for you. I'm serious. Unreal. It's like,